All right, guys, we're here for food and philosophy number 35. You announce my sponsor, my peeps at Good Idea. I love them. Helps me eat all the food that I eat. Look like this. Look like this. Even though all I do is eat, 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 no matter what. Got food on my mind. All right, fill this up. But ironically, I'm breaking script today. It's normally food and philosophy, but today is going to be a review in philosophy. So if I'm bringing on a non-food product, it means it was either really, really, really amazing or it really, really, really disappointed me. So I moved off my previous deodorant. It was great. Made me. I was not. I'm a pretty active guy. Stay out late. I walk in 90-degree heat. I put in 20,000 steps often. Workout, all that stuff, and I apply deodorant. But the thing is, it was messing up my shirts. It was giving me streaks and all that stuff. So I saw this ad. You've probably seen it all over the place for Mando. And I was like, all right, fine. Whatever. I need a new deodorant. Let me try it out. It said 72-hour odor control, whole body odor shield. Boom. So I get it. First day I put it on, literally by nighttime, not even 12 hours, I was like, oh my God, this smells, or I smell. I mean, and I'm like, okay, well, let me give it a chance. It's brand new. Maybe I didn't put enough. So I literally finished it this morning. And so I was like, it's perfect for me to review it. So, one, I was intrigued because the flavor or the scent was bourbon leather. So, for the scent, normally when I'm wearing deodorant, previous to this one, didn't matter the kinds I had. When I'm normally wearing a scented thing, women often tell me, damn, you smell good, Ike. Not once in the 60 or so days that I had this did anybody ever tell me that I smelled good, let alone women that were close to me. So for scent, I'm gonna give it it doesn't matter. It's like scent, no review for it. But anyways, like I said, the first day, it said 72 hours here. So the first day I had it 12 hours. I routinely put a lot of this on my hand and it doesn't even last till the night. So now if it said, hey, put this on and we'll do some things and by the night you'll be fine, because I'm not expecting to smell deliciously refreshed at 3 o'clock in the morning. But this mofo said 72-hour odor control. 72 hours means that when I go to sleep, I better not smell nothing. I better not smell shit, like literally and figuratively. I better not smell anything. So, sorry, Mando. Maybe if you were not flipping lying, like don't say 72 hours if what you meant was 12, 10 or 12. Like literally, I'm throwing. I mean, if it wasn't already, I almost threw this away. But before you finishing it all, just because it wasn't useful, I will say the big plus: it didn't mark up my clothes. I don't have any. Like I put it on today. I don't have any lines on my clothes. Not ruining my clothes at all, which is why I moved off my previous deodorant. But Mando, you got me for one purchase, and that is it. I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 3 stars. I will never ever buy it. And in fact, I liked it so little that I added it to my food and philosophy podcast to tell you, don't buy this. 72 hours, my ass. Like literally. You said full body, you said put it out everywhere in 72 hours. Lying. Now, time for my X talk. So something really interesting happened to me the other day when I was looking through X instead of the normal political stuff that it gives me because it knows I get charged about people's responses and there's sports too. I guess the new hiding likes and liking stuff that is helping the algorithm a little bit. Thread about art came up, and I love going to art museums. When I was in Paris, is one of my favorite ways that I spent my time there. In Europe, other parts of Europe too, where I'd go to an art museum. Um, Normally not the, although did go to the Louvre, but go somewhere and be with the art. And so the thread was about the idea that art, or that museums, as a generalization, especially art ones, are too big. You go there and then you got to go through all these rooms, and there's 500 or 1,000 pieces in there. And because of how we view art or how we go to museums, that we're losing how we observe them, because you go in and you just want to, like, just out of human natural instinct, got to go to all the rooms, got to see all the exhibits, and got to see if they got the Mona Lisa and they have the Hercules thing or whatever. You got to go see all that. And so what the author posted, and also not somebody famous, so I don't remember their name, unfortunately, is that they were saying that pick out the art pieces ahead of time before you go, 1 to, I don't know, 5 pieces before you go. Study up on the author or the artist. Maybe it's a series of paintings or art from the same artist, and then study up on it. Go there and spend the few hours with just those pieces and observe and be with them, because they were saying that they were arguing that the art is supposed to be contemplated over the span of life, not just go in there, spend 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and then go to the next one and the next one and the next one. And so I recalled the times that I've been to museums and the enjoyable ones versus the non enjoyable ones. My most enjoyable times were when I would go by myself on my own pace. And even if I went with other people, say, hey, we'll meet back here at 3 p.m. or 5 p.m. and go do my own thing. And I find this also not just art museums. Like when I go to the aquarium, sometimes I want to kick it with the penguins longer or the sea otters longer than somebody else might want to, or look at the crabs or whatever. So same thing. And I noticed at the times that I enjoyed my some of my most memorable ones were the ones that I went off on myself and looked, but then also where I'd go and be with a sculpture, and look at a painting and just be there and look at it and observe it and notice what I'm feeling and being with them. And I've never spent an hour with a painting or a sculpture. I'm not going to even pretend that I have, or looking at a lion at the zoo. I've probably never spent more than 10 or 15 minutes with them. Trying to think when I had I had a connection with the snow leopard once, and I did put my hand in the cage and I pet him. So maybe I was with him for a little bit longer, or her. And I noticed that I enjoyed being with the sculpture and noticing what I was feeling and sitting down and taking my time instead of moving and moving and moving. I remember it might have been the Louvre. No, where's the coronation painting at? And it was there, and I looked at it and thinking about, like, just looking at all the details in the painting. Or I saw some Van Goghs once, and just like looking at all the details and kind of not just where the eyes went to the middle, but also what's going on the outside and just being with them. And I probably was with some pieces, maybe 20 minutes, not too much more past that. But I really would like the idea of being with a painting for an hour or a sculpture for an hour. It sounds to me like, oh wow, actually if I planned on that, knew I was going to go there and see these 5 things for a total of 3 hours and just hang out with those. I like that idea. So I'll report back to you when that happens. But you don't have to limit it to museums. What about when we're talking to people that we're passing on the street? You run into an old friend. Are you there? And then you just stay with them for 5 minutes and be like, "Oh, I'll talk to you later." Or are you actually gonna be there with them? Yeah, we're all busy. We all got things. Or when we go out to eat with a group of people, what are you talking about? What are you admiring or not in them? How much quality time versus quantity of time are you spending? You can apply it to a lot of areas of your life, but I'm going to do it with museums and let you know how that goes. And that is my X talk. We are coming to the end, but we are not yet at the end. You have been told that even like a chain, you are as weak as your weakest link. If you call last episode or the previous one, I said your floor is your strongest link and your ceiling is your weakest link. You want to make your floor as high as possible. So, through your strongest links, through your strongest values, and then you want to keep getting your ceiling higher and higher, slowly but surely. But you can easily raise your ceiling by also raising your floor. So, you've been told that even like a chain, you are as weak as your weakest link. This is but half the truth. You are also as strong as your strongest link. To measure you by your smallest deed is to reckon the power of ocean by the frailty of the foam. To judge you by your failures is to cast blame upon the seasons for their inconstancy. You are like an ocean, and though heavy grounded ships await the tide upon your shores, yet even like an ocean, you cannot hasten your tides. And like the seasons, you are also, and though in your winter you deny your spring, yet spring reposing within you smiles in her drowsiness and is not offended. Think not I say these things in order that you may say the one to the other, he praised us well, he saw but the good in us. I only speak to you in words of that which you yourselves know in thought. So when you are busy, when you are being one thing, when you're like, I am good, or I am whatever is important to you to exhibit being, I'm smart. What are those things that you need to be? Whenever you're being that thing, you're denying the exact opposite at the same time that you are, though. Also, if I said you're always smart, you've never made a mistake, you're always kind, you've never been cruel, you're always inspired, you've never been lazy, you you wouldn't even agree with me. Just as if I said, "You're always lazy and you're never inspired. You're always fat and you're never fit. You're always dumb. You never made a good decision." You wouldn't believe me. I get this from Dr. John DeMartini. But if I said, "Hey, sometimes you make great decisions and sometimes you made dumb decisions, and there've been times in your life where you've been kind, really kind, and there was times you were a jerk, and there's times you've been inspired and you've really been lit on fire, and there's times that you've just been lazy and you don't want to do anything," you'd be like, "Yeah, that tracks." But when you're being one thing, you exactly deny the other thing, the exact opposite, when in fact you are both. You already know this about yourself. You already know about these things in your life where one thing keeps coming and keeps going. You already know these things consciously and unconsciously. And Chivalry over here is inspired to go get an Ike sandwich for dinner. That is a great decision. Exactly. And what is the word knowledge but a shadow of wordless knowledge? Your thoughts and my words are waves from a sealed memory that keeps records of our yesterdays and of the ancient days when the earth knew not us nor herself, and of nights when earth was upwrought with confusion. Wise men have come to you to give you of their wisdom. I came to take of your wisdom. And behold, I have found that which is greater than wisdom. It is a flame spirit in your ever gathering more of itself. Uh, it is a flame spirit in you, ever gathering more of itself, while you, heedless of its expansion, bewail the withering of your days. It is life in quest of life and bodies that fear the grave. There are no graves here. These mountains and plains are a cradle and a stepping stone. Nothing can ever be gained or lost. Your thoughts and my words are waves from a sealed memory that keeps records of yesterday and of the ancient days when the earth knew not us nor herself, and of nights when the earth was upwrought with confusion. The second law of thermodynamics says nothing can ever be lost, nor nothing's can ever be gained. If you expand other is anytime that you think you've lost, you've actually gained, and anything you think you've gained, you've actually lost. Things just change in form. Energy gets transferred. While you, heedless of its expansion, bewail the withering of your days, it is life in quest of life in bodies that fear the grave. There are no graves. Nothing's ever lost, nothing's ever gained. This fear of loss, this fear of death, is built in to keep us alive for the human self, like the animal human, so that the goal, the God part of us, can learn and grow for as long as possible. If we were human for whatever 100 years or so, give or take a little bit, and you had no fear of the unknown, no fear of death, you wouldn't grow. You'd just be here being attuned with your animalistic parts, which they do have their. I mean, that's how we procreate, and we definitely need to eat and drink and breathe and mate in order to propagate the species. But it's this fear that's a driver. And say if you get past the Maslow's hierarchy of needs and you move on to wanting to you grow, like personal development, as it's higher up on the needs list or the wants list. There's even the subtlety of not wanting to be where you are is in itself a flavor of fear. You might not actually be fearful, but not wanting to be where you are is kind of fear. And so that's how the guard part of us can even grow and learn. We talked about being spaceless, timeless, and massless, and then being reduced all the way down to human form so that we can be still enough for long enough of a time to learn. Ironically, this sphere also causes the human part of ourselves. It causes us diseases, it causes us pain, it causes us fear, it causes a lot of things. Whenever you pass by the field where you have laid your ancestors, look well there upon, and you shall see yourselves and your children dancing hand in hand. Verily, you often make merry without knowing. Others have come to you, to whom, for golden promises made unto your faith, you have given but riches and power and glory. Less than a promise have I given, and yet more generous have you been to me. You have given me my deeper thirsting after life. Surely there is no greater gift to a man than that which turns all his aims into parching lips and all life into a fountain. And in this lies my honor and my reward, that whenever I come to the fountain to drink, I find the living water itself thirsty, and it drinks me while I drink it. Some of you have deemed me proud and overshy to receive gifts. It is in the quest for my growth, my own personal growth, that the universe itself grows too. In fact, it cannot. This is why whenever you go to the fountain to drink, I find the living water thirsty itself. This is what we're here for. Everything and anything grows all from each other. Without you, the world cannot get what it wants. And you're only able to get what you want because it told you to want what you want. So, to end here, I'll just say it all again. In the quest for your growth, the universe itself grows too. How does it not? I mean, just you can just look at the manifestation of all the technologies from man and they first started using the tools and the wheel and fire and all these things, and I'm not sure what all the other inventions till now where we're dealing with AI and look at the cities that we have. Without you, the universe itself cannot get what it wants. And you only are able to get what you want because the universe itself told you what to want. Each of us have different desires, different wants inside of us. One thing somebody loves and someone else is repulsed by. Who or what put that there? How did that get that there? And I think when people say, "Oh, nurture and nature and stuff like that," I think that that's a cop out because people show up in the same spots and have the same similar parents, and yet they still make different meanings and decisions. And sure, you're gonna say it's all meticulous all the way down, and that human, the little itty bitty one of us, had complete control over its entire life the entirety time. Even if that were true, which, maybe it is slightly, who the hell do you think put that there or what you think you put that there? So it was exactly perfect in the exact same way to create all of us in exactly the way that we want, but it wasn't like magically like why is the laws of thermodynamics the way that they are and why are those true and not refuted yet by people that are been trying to refute them? Maybe perhaps it's all a cyclical thing and everything's supposed to be exactly the way it is. Which is why when you get what you want, great. And when you don't get what you want, even better. Your well being is your greatest contribution to humanity. No exceptions ever. Love you.